Hey, what's up, you guys? Wyattxhim here, and I get this question a lot on Facebook and through YouTube. That what is my top 10 all-time favorite albums? Well, I'm going to show you guys right here. This is just my top 10 as of right now. It changes a lot, but through the past few months and like nearly a year, it's been pretty solid, this top 10. So that's why I've decided to make one, because I'm really positive of what I've made is my legit top 10. It was pretty tough because I got a lot of bands to choose from and a shit ton of albums to choose from each, all the bands. And yeah, remember guys, this is just my opinion. Alright, hopefully you discover something new, even though a majority of this, well, really all of this is stuff I always talk about. But yeah, I know some of you are curious to where I place them, and yeah, let's just get underway. Number 10, 2013, all I did was just talk about these guys. Ghost BC, Infestissumam. I know I'm going to get some hate for this because really a lot of people prefer their debut to their sophomore release, but I like their sophomore release more. It's even more catchy, which I thought wasn't possible after listening to their debut. And that's what I love about this album so much. Sure, it's got those poppy kind of sound to it that sounds a little too happy, but I think they just made it better. And I love practically every track on this, and especially their closing track, Monstrous Clock. I love that track to death. That is their perfect outro for their shows and for this album. And yeah, just so fucking good, regardless if it's doom metal or whatever they call it, just regular rock, doom metal, I don't care. I love this Ghost album. Next, number 9. As if you know me, I'm really, really obsessed with this band right now, and they made it in my list. Not because of my obsession with them, but just really damn good. Portal's third album called Swarth, I believe.
Swarth.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. Fuck. That's all I can say about this. This is the definition of what darkness would sound like if it could make a sound. Everything is evil as all hell. Portal just knows how to make dark music sound intense and sound evil. And even though the vocalist does like these whisper grunts, it's still haunting as all fucking hell. And that's what I love about this album so much. Out of the 4 they made, should definitely check out this one first, because I think this is like the gateway album to get you addicted to Portal, because this, to me, was. And I can't wait to see what else these guys can put out, because they've only made 4 full lengths, and I want to hear so much more by these guys. And yeah, everything about this track I love. Especially, I really can't see it, but the 4th track on this album is my favorite. You should check that out if you want to get into Portal. So yeah, that's number 9. Number 8. I think this is the album you should show your friends if you want them to get into death metal. Number 8 is Vital Remains Dechristianize. I may not like Glenn Benton as a person, but as a musician, he's one talented dude, and it shows in this album. The Glenn Benton era, in my opinion, was Vital Remains' best point in the discography. And what I love about Vital Remains, especially in this album, is that usually if you want to think a band's evil, you have to listen to the vocals or the lyrical themes or the images they show. With Vital Remains, it's those melodic, sinister guitar riffs that make it sound evil, and that's what I love about them so much, especially on the title track, Dechristianize. It's an 8.5-minute epic, satanic song that I can't get enough of, and it's the main reason why I'm obsessed with this album, along with all the other ones that are great. Infidel is a great track, Unleash Hell's another great one, and At War with God, all great stuff. They're pretty lengthy for death metal, because usually death metal is 3 to 4 minutes. This goes averagely to 6 minutes, to some tracks go to like 9 to 10 minutes, but it's not boring whatsoever, and this is easily one of my all-time favorite death metal albums. Lately, I've been like losing interest with death metal lately because I'm getting more and more picky with it. But this still remains one of my all-time favorite death metal albums, and albums in general, I should say. So yeah, that's number 8. Number 7, I actually have tattooed on me on my chest, and if you know me well, I kind of spoiled what number 7 is. Number 7 is Our Penance Sedition. Wow. Just like what I said about Vital Remains, but they multiplied by 2, basically. Twice as much insanity going on in this one. The guitar riffs are more beefy, the drum work is more pummeling. I know it's kind of weird that I'm comparing Our Penance to Vital Remains here, but I'm just explaining why I like this a little bit more. And everything about this is just hell's being unleashed. And once I make a top 10 album artworks, this will definitely be like in the top 5. Because for fuck's sake, it's a giant two-headed serpent with lightning around it destroying a church. That's fucking awesome. And that's what made me buy this, and then the music made me love it. So, yeah, even though I'm not a big fan of technical death metal, to a degree this can be technical death metal. This is one of the very few technical death metal albums I love, and it's one of my all-time favorite albums, so give this a listen if you haven't. So that was number 7. Number 6, I know, going through this theme again, I also have this album tattooed on me. Number 6 is Exhumed's Necrocracy. Now this might surprise you that this is on here because a lot of people are like, oh, it's good but nothing more. The thing about it is it does its job for me so well. It makes me want to headbang. This is one of the few albums that I immediately go to when I just want to headbang and release energy or stress. Exhumed's Necrocracy will always be one of my favorites, and I'm not just saying that because I kind of have to say that, but the reason why I got it tattooed on me is because even still to this day, 2 years later, I am still obsessing over it. I still have a blast listening to it, and I haven't lost any love for this album. And every track is great, especially Coins Upon the Eyes is in this album, which I love. My cat just came out of my bed randomly, which kind of surprised the fuck out of me. But, yeah, I know a lot of people might be, you like Exhumed that much? Yes. Mostly because of this album. So that was 6. Number 5. You guys kind of knew this would be in here. Anaal Nathrakh's in the Constellation of the Black Widow. Oh my god, the definition of what chaos would sound like. Anaal Nathrakh brings in every single album, especially this one. Oh man, what I love about them, they make it chaotic, they make it intense, they make it harsh, they make it brutal, they make it everything that extreme music can be, but yet it's still catchy. Very few bands do that, and I feel like Anaal Nathrakh mastered it perfectly, nearly. And what I love too is that when you think there wouldn't be any clean anything in this, the vocals and the choruses come in, and it just captivates you even more, and it brings your attention even more into the album. And this album especially is like that. Which ones do I really like? More of Fire Than Blood's a great one. The Unbearable Filth of the Soul, awesome track. Every single song on this album I love, and you should definitely listen to it first if you want to get into Anaal Nathrakh. So that's Nathrakh, if you want to say it like that too. So that was number 5. Number 4, my all-time favorite black metal album, Emperor and the Nightside of the Eclipse. I got the 4x4 banner up there, which is so good looking. The artwork's epic, and the music is even more epic. I've said this before 5 times, I think, but I'll say it again because we're talking about it. Usually when it comes to black metal, you can only be cold, brittle, and harsh. You can't be epic. It just doesn't work that way, and it's really rare you'll find it. Emperor somehow combined those two together to make this fucking masterpiece. It is. It's really hard for me to say that M word when it comes to albums, but I can easily say it to this one, easily, without giving it a second thought. Every track is amazing. It's epic. The highs that Ihsahn puts on this.
You said the M word.
Yeah, masterpiece.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant amazing. I was like, what?
Every track on this I love, especially Beyond the Great Vast Forest. That opening scream that he does. That's all I gotta say to it. So yeah, Emperor's in the Nightside Eclipse, number 4. Number 3, the last band, or album I should say, that's tattooed on me. Dying Fetus, Reign Supreme. Sadly, I only have it on CD. I'm trying to find it on vinyl somewhere. It's signed by the members too, which I love. When I first discovered this album back in 2012, I think 75% of what I listened to in 2012 was this album. This is the first ever death metal album I bought because I don't know if I told this backstory, but when I had my car, I usually just torrented music because I really didn't work that much towards making money towards buying music, and I had a little bit of money, and my iPod wouldn't work in my car, so I'm like, I need something extreme, and it's just gonna make me, awake. This was the first album I went to. What I love about Dying Fetus is that even though they put technical riffs in there, which I don't like, they somehow make it sound good to me. And that's very, very difficult when it comes to a listener like me that doesn't like technical death metal. They know how to balance it out. This borderline... See, now that I realize it, Dying Fetus somewhat combines two subgenres I don't like a little bit of brutal slam death metal and a little bit of technical death metal. And I think that's what I enjoy about them so much. They combined those two together, and I still love it. And really, their recipe for music is brutality, technicality, and a little bit of breakdowns here and there. But they just do it so well and perfect to my liking that I find it nearly impossible to hate this album. And this is easily my all-time favorite regular death metal album. Easily. Even though I kind of just said brutal and technical, but they're considered death metal for the most part, and I just love this album so much. Every track I just want to headbang, go crazy to, and have a mosh pit by myself in my room, which is why it's always messy. But the track In the Trenches made me just obsessed with this album. So yeah, Dying Fetus, Reign Supreme, number 3. Number 2 is last year's album of the year, Obliviscaris, Citadel. Alright, now I know a lot of you are going to be like, but Portal of Eye. Yes, that's another amazing album. But what I think I like more about this one, this is the album that got me obsessed with them. This is the album that makes me want to play an instrument. And it's kind of like I have a little bit of a little bit more than a regular likeness to this album. Not just its music, but how it makes me think. And that's what I love about it a lot. Even though really there's only 3 full tracks, because the other 3 are like just intros and instrumental tracks that are only like a couple of minutes. It's fucking, they're long tracks that make up for that so much. Painters of the Tempest. Yeah, Tempest. I said that a little wrong. Perfect. 16 and a half minutes of just perfect music in my taste. The violin in this album, greatest. Tim Charles, you're just a fucking genius when it comes to music, especially with your vocals and your violin playing. You're a fucking genius. And the band too is just as much of a genius. Everything about this album I love, and it's perfect. It's just perfect in my opinion, and it easily made number 1 last year. And even though I'm still discovering music from 2014, nothing still that I can find from 2014 can beat this. And I've been loving this album ever since 2014, even though it's only 2015. And I say that because usually when it comes to albums, I lose a lot of likeness within after the first few months, but I'm still enjoying this as much as I did when I bought it. So yeah, Obliviscaris, number 2. Number 1, I talked about a little bit, but I'll go into a little bit of a bigger description to this. This album has been my all-time favorite album for the past 4 years, and nothing's usually lasts that long, but this one has. And this might surprise you since I always talk about death metal or black metal. But number 1 is Cynic, Traced in Air. Everything is beautiful. Everything is breathtaking. Everything is in this album is what I want in progressive metal. It's relaxing. It's got a little bit of an upbeat to it to make it metal. Paul Masvidal is amazing with vocals and his guitar playing. I love how he adds a little bit of technicality to it. I love that his just riffs just are soaring and they just take my mind away somewhere else. Just everything's perfect in this album, in my opinion. From the first track to the last track, just everything. If I had to pick a favorite that's really tough, it's either Integral Birth or Adam's Murmur. Everything's perfect. It's very interesting to look up what each song means. It's intelligent, it's soaring, it's fast, it's beautiful, it's breathtaking. It's everything I want in music, and this album has delivered to my expectations every time I listen to it. And for the past 4 years, it's been my all-time favorite album. And I honestly believe this will always be my all-time favorite album because everything's just perfect, in my opinion, of this album. And, yep, that's it. That's my top 10. Hopefully I either reminded you or made you discover new music through this. If I did, comment. If I didn't and I reminded you, comment. And, yeah, just tell me what's your top 10. I'm very interested. All you guys are fucking awesome, and I look forward to your comments. And, thanks for watching, liking, supporting, subscribing. You guys are the fucking best, and keep it metal.